ladies and gentlemen. I think it was a preemptive. We've come on the air. I tell you, I got to get used to this new studio. I'm still used to South Green Street. Anyway, good evening tonight, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of the Grand Boulevard Coalition. And let me do something that I wanted to do when we first started the show. Let me just give my deepest, sincere condolences to two individuals. I started and got involved with CAN TV and Chicago Access television studios because of a great brother by the name of Boise Edwards, who's resting now and no longer is with us. Brother Boise is among many a plethora of things that he did. He was a community organizer. He worked with young people in the community, but he was also a producer and a host of on CAN TV. Strike that. On cable access television on 21, Make Me Wanna Holler, and so many other shows. But over the years of watching him as a young man and being a guest on his many shows is the reason why I got involved with CAN TV. And so I want to give a shout out to our brother who's no longer with us, Brother Boise Edwards and his family. You certainly have my condolences. And to Jose Salazar, who produced many of those shows. Jose was another good individual who produced a lot of television shows down on Green Street when we were there. And now we're in a different neighborhood, new studios. Is quite interesting. But today, my guest is no stranger to CAN TV. You've probably seen him. In fact, in a couple hours, he'll probably be on with his show. He wears many hats. But tonight, we're talking about drug-free communities, and he is one of three of us in the city of Chicago who have one of these drug-free community federal SAMSHA grants to educate the community about underage drinking and drugging in many communities. So I am the president of the Grand Boulevard Coalition that focus on underage drinking and drugging, and my guest tonight is my brother and friend, Reverend, the very right Reverend, Walter Jones. Now he's again, no stranger. And that's just one of his hats, his DFC, but he's also Fathers Who Care. And then he can tell you a little bit more about what he's doing. This is a live show, again, a live show, 312-738-1060. We are talking about drug-free communities tonight. And I know you say I'm a little bit out of character. I got this hat on, but Walter,
that's why I kept mine on.
Yeah,
because you had yours on.
Yeah, right. But
your hat was on, so and then I know how you flagged these Cubs.
You got it. The greatest rivalry in baseball is tonight at Wrigley Field. The Cubs and the Cardinals. Anyhow, let's talk about drug-free communities. Reverend Walter Jones, how are you tonight, sir?
Hey, listen, man. I'm just glad to be alive. You know, I'm still on the field doing His will and trying to make a deal.
Well, tell me a little bit about what the West Garfield Park community stakeholders have been doing and is continuing to do as it relates to dealing with drug-free communities.
Well, you know, Obadeli, it's what we are not doing.
Yeah,
I mean, we got a group of young folks who are actively involved and really promoting a safe and drug-free community. We got youth leadership, we got health sectors working, we got all of our 12 sectors pounding it out.
Okay.
We just got back from being in Washington talking to another regional thing that we're working on and bringing the states together now. Of course, we got the sectors groups going in the city of Chicago. We got a strong healthcare sector, law enforcement sector, youth sector. So things are really moving and grooving on the west side of Chicago.
Well, that's great. Why don't you, before I name some of our partners, and I normally do that traditionally, why don't you give us a few names of some of the folks who are a part of your sectors?
Oh, no, I would be remiss because I couldn't remember them all.
Oh, you couldn't well.
No, we got maybe 50 partners.
Really?
50? Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Put me to shame. Put us to shame on the south side. The west side is doing it. So,
but what I will do is I will make sure that you get our resource directory.
Okay.
I mean, we have a 2006 resource directory, I'd say 2016 resource directory, and it lists. I make sure you get it. It lists all of the partners. I would be remiss if I attempted to try to list all them folks, but I will say that all 12 sectors that we have represented in our drug-free community are doubled by 2.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's a great thing. Well, one thing I can say, and I can attest to, as I came in, I seen the gold T-shirts of all your young people, and I know that you have a later show coming on later on this evening. So I know that you absolutely are doing the work in the community, and so and making a difference. I would say. As it relates
We're
to
trying.
trying
We're
to
trying.
combat the issue of drugs or underage drinking and drugging in the community. And so I will just name a few of ours, our sector partners in the Grand Boulevard community, because you can't have a coalition if you don't have partners, right?
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
one of our partners is Recovery 2000. Another one of our partners is the Institute for Positive Living, Greater Harvest Missionary Baptist Church, Centers for New Horizon, the Green Light Movement, the Third Ward Alderman Pat Dow as our local government partner that partners with us. We have William Penn, who's our parental advisory coordinator. We have Mr. Lafayette Ford, who actually partners with us from CPS.
And he's part of our coalition as well.
Well,
Yeah.
Lafayette gets you
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
I got to tell you, Lafayette, boy, I wonder, he needs a driver. He
Yeah.
zigzags all over the city.
Hey man, Lafayette go way
Good brother,
back.
good
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
And he makes sure that the community and CPS and jail together and
Absolutely.
keep the information. But I understand we got a call already. Caller, you on the air.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
see the gentleman on my right on TV a lot, and I agree with him 99.9% of the time. The good Rev, I don't know, but if he's with you, he's got to be a good man. But you know what gets to me? You guys go out there and donate, actually, all your time for all these good causes. And what happens? Nothing. And I'll tell you why nothing happens. You got the man at the top, Ram. When something goes wrong in the police department, guess what he does? He gets another superintendent and gets another committee. You guys here, instead of getting a committee, because you know he's not going to give you any money, but if he went and he went to you guys and gave you the money that you should get, he would make your job 100% easier. But that's never going to happen because Ram ain't going to give you nothing because he don't care. He can go out there and say and march, I'm for this. But our bonds are no good. They're junk bonds. So it's not at the top, but I wish the gentleman would get 10 times the money that you guys are getting right now if we get anything. Thank you.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to first thank you for
Yeah.
calling in.
Yeah.
We appreciate the call and we appreciate your comment. But I guess I would like to just preference by saying, we've been doing the work we've been doing before Ram got here. We're going to do the work we've been doing when Ram leaves. And if we have anything to say about it, we're going to make sure those who take on these leadership positions, either from the national all the way down to the local, that we hold their feet to the fire. I mean, of course, I agree with you. We need more money. Yes, we do need more money. But in that endeavor to try to get additional resources to do the work we're doing, we still got to save our babies. We still got to have outlets for our young folks. We still got to engage them, enlighten them, empower them. And sometimes, of course, the more money you get, the more stuff you can possibly do. But the young folks don't know nothing about the money. They just want someone to really care about them and really engage them in some things where they can have additional options and chances to go out there to succeed.
And I would just say, I think we can have all the money in the world, but if it's not going to stop how readily accessible the flow of drugs and guns are coming into our community, it's not going to make a difference, right?
Well, that's by design too.
Yeah, and I hear you. Here's my position, and I'm not a journalist, so this is not in other journalistic stations. We are community organizers and community people, so I can say this. I'm not going to wholly blame Rahm Emanuel, who's been the mayor for some 6 years now in the city of Chicago, when his predecessor was there for 20 years, and you have other elected officials that have been there longer than that. Mm-hmm. My point is this. We have a systemic problem, and it's going to take outside of the box approaches. and it's going to take a holistic approach to deal with it. I'll just put it that way. I do think that there are some things that the mayor could do differently. I do believe in police and community engagement. I think that the community should work with the police, and it should be vice versa. When you look in Chicago, and I'm just going off script because we're really talking about underage drinking and drugging, but in the last 48 hours, we've had 12 deaths, 40 shootings, and 90% of them were African Americans and took place in African American communities. So we can keep talking about the police and what they're doing and how many folks they killing, but we yet to deal with the systematic problems that we have in our community, and some of it is from educational deprivation, economic deprivation, certainly, and we have some mental problems. Then there's some spiritual. So I'm not gonna get on my soapbox again. I just wanted to respond to you as a caller, and I appreciate your call. But I'm not at the point. I'm not on the blame Rahm game. Yeah, I disagree with Rahm on several things, and I think there are things his administration could have done differently, and still do. But at the end of the day, a lot of the things that are happening in our community, I think those of us who are there, the local leadership, whether there's businesses, elected officials, homeowners, just everyday citizens can deal with and address. And so, those are the things that we want to talk about tonight, about how young people get access to marijuana and other hallucinogenic drugs, how they're able to get access to alcohol at the ages of 12 and 13, 14 years old from establishments in the community. How does the businesses work with the community? How does those community organizations in your community serve? And so, Walter, we're on the South Side, so doing the work. And Walter Jones, Reverend Walter Jones, is on the West Side. So tonight, what we're trying to do is, I guess,
officially show the collaboration.
Absolutely, and talk about
because we already
things,
been together,
and then talk about the things that we're doing, right, and how this could actually work.
Right.
And then, but on the other side, I brought Walter on because I don't really think people really understand that we are really unique, because prior to the 3 years ago, urban communities didn't have access to these opportunities from the federal government.
Well, not from the federal government, but we had been doing some of the work through the safety network when you was kind of instrumental in kind of spearheading that back in the day.
Oh yeah, with our great governor, Rob Blagojevich.
So,
I should mention that too.
So I want to make sure that's crystal
He's
clear.
my friend, and I don't. Well, okay, but let's go on.
But just to be crystal clear, I mean, some of us who do this work haven't just started doing this work because of this initiative with DFC. We've been doing this work for the state. We've been doing it in the city, and you've been actively involved in it, so you know. So I definitely agree with you with this thrust now of trying to access the national level. I think this is a prime opportunity for people of color in urban communities to unite, come together, and seriously make an impact, serious impacts in their community. And we can do that, but we can't do it if we're pointing fingers at each other and not working together. It's impossible.
Well, and I will say that, and knowing that you are the consummate organizer, and Walter, I know that any given day or time that there's a meeting called, you're there. And so, how do you see, even in the work that you're doing, right? How do you see being able to really get people more involved in, I'm talking about local folks, just ordinary citizens? What are some of the things that you, I would say, tactics or strategies that you use to get ordinary people involved in this movement?
Okay, well, folks are vested.
Okay.
First, you want to know what they're vested in. So you have to give folks an opportunity to come out and vent. You got to give. So I suggest that you convene and nurture that involvement. Well, and we do that monthly by allowing folks to come out and have those sessions. We call them listening and empowerment sessions, where folks come out and they talk and they vent about whatever they need to talk and vent about. We in turn take that information from that community level, bring it up to our executive level, and then implement. So folks do have things on their mind. They are driven. They're compassionate about what they're compassionate about. We just listen to them, right? We listen to them, and here's the big one. You ready?
Go ahead.
You ready?
I'm ready.
We feed them.
We feed them.
And not only do we
Right,
not only do we feed them, hey, you laugh if you want to,
Right.
call it what you like, but it's real. Not only do we feed them intellectually and spiritually, we feed them physically.
Yeah,
And so, folks, especially when you're taking people's time, respect their time.
indeed.
So it don't hurt to give folks food or snacks or something as we kick it in and have our moments of chopping things up. So I'm saying that to say that we provide those intellectual stimulators to get them going.
Yeah. And the physical nourishment too.
Absolutely.
No.
We do
I
like to
agree with
eat.
you. Well, hey, look at me. You can tell.
We do like to eat.
Don't let me get started.
Listen.
I'm hungry now.
Look,
I wish I could tell you what I got a taste for.
Listen, when we pull out, we got green cloths, green tablecloths, right?
Yeah.
When the green tablecloths are coming out, they know what that means.
Oh, that means there's a four. It's one of them church meals. All right. Well, hey, listen, I understand.
Yes.
And
So that's an idea.
as a fellow who likes to eat, you can tell. Hey, I ain't missed a meal now. Let me tell you.
I mean, that's the simplest thing you can do for folks when you take their time.
Well, that's true.
No,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I listen. I think people say, "Well, I'm tired of talking, and I'm tired of people talking." But you know what? At the end of the day, talking becomes very therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
I think we don't talk enough. We may talk at each other, but we don't talk to each other. I think that those of us who think we have a solution, again, I think it's the call for all hands on deck.
Absolutely.
When it comes down to dealing with our young people,
Absolutely.
and dealing with our communities, and so I don't think no strategy should be off the table as it relates to trying to sincerely, with good intentions, come together to solve some of the problems in our community.
I agree with you 100%.
And especially when it comes down to underage drinking and drugging. And I believe we have a caller.
Okay.
Caller, you on the air. Good evening, caller, you on the air. Good evening, caller, you on the air.
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
Hi. I am saddened by the news of Boise Edwards.
Yeah.
I really am, because I was a fan of his. I'm a fan of Can TV, period.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly waiting for him to come back on TV. And I was wondering, since you all got a new studio, I was wondering, will Doc and Harold
Well, it's my understanding they will be, and I can announce to you tonight that even we will make a transition into that larger studio. I believe they're going to be going that programming on 21. I'm not officially speaking for Can TV, but I believe this fall, maybe sometime between October, you'll probably see some of those shows on, and I'm sure they have something planned as a tribute. Listen, Boise was a good brother. And certainly I miss him like you. Again, I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for Boise Edwards. He gave me the motivation. I didn't have the intestinal fortitude or the level of stick-to-itiveness to go and produce shows in the larger studio. So I relegated myself and the groups that I've worked with Can TV. But I am going to take that leap because I don't think we need a void of a voice in the wilderness. And I will say Boise Edwards, Dr. Kofi Malik, who's still with us, but Jose Salazar, who produced many of those shows, is no longer with us. So, and they're good brothers. And so I know that you will probably see some tributes, dear sister, to our brother Boise Edwards in the near future. Thank you for your call. And I know Boise, you know Boise
Quite
as well,
well.
and
Quite well. Quite well.
great pillar on the west side of the west side community. So
Yeah.
it was a tremendous loss because I can say for me, being a lifelong South Sider, this is the only way I knew how to come down here. Now this, where the studio is now, is just kind of ironic because it's also sentimental because my grandfather, Dr. Levi Ben Israel, or many people know him as Freddie Lane. Either way, he owned property from 14th Street, from Loomis, all the way up to Ashland. And he had a karate school over there. He had a skating rink. I mean, we had pillars, steak here, grocery store on the corner. So as in my youth, I spent a lot of time in this particular neighborhood, just ironically, where the new studio is now. But anyway, let's get back to talking about drug-free communities and prevention. And so, Reverend Walter, parental involvement. Now, in the past, we've gotten callers in who says, well, I understand that drugs are out here, and so I've just made these are parents now saying they made the conscious decision. They've called in this station, in this show, and said they made the conscious decision to drink and smoke weed with their children because they don't want them doing it outside. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm totally against it.
All right.
We did a logic model, a theory of change, and a strategic plan.
Okay.
And in our logic model and our theory of our strategic plan, that was one of the root causes where we felt that was contributing to underage drinking and substance abuse by young folks.
Okay.
And we feel that the access attitude has been diminished, therefore giving young folks the opportunity to do these, to engage in these substances at an early age with no retribution.
Yeah.
So therefore they start young doing this stuff, which is completely wrong, against the law. It is against the law.
Yeah.
All right. It's against the law.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I get it.
But to even engage these young appropriate, I've heard folks say, I'd rather for my child to do it in their house with me than to do it out there. You're so wrong. You're so wrong.
Well, listen. They call it. In fact, I don't know. We got a call on the air now. It might be one of them.
Bring it up.
On the air.
Come on, let's talk about it.
Tell
us.
Caller, you on the air?
Hello.
Yeah, you need to turn down your TV.
I have a question for Reverend Jones.
Yes.
What activities are currently happening for young people in the community?
Oh, okay. What activity?
And thank you for your call.
Thank you
Go
so
ahead.
much. Thank you. Well, as with Grand Boulevard, we are collectively working to empower our young folks through our youth leadership and development groups. We have a youth organizing group with the West Garfield Park Youth Council. Our young folks are actively involved out there in social networking. They're out there in community outreach. They have their community leadership meetings every Monday night at 4:30, and they petition and advocate for themselves on the state level, on the city level, and they do things that young folks should be doing to make themselves notable and credible in the community.
Yeah, well, I did see that they were out there in the hall with the West Garfield Park Youth Council.
Yeah, that was something.
So you have a youth council.
Yeah, we have a leadership.
People, leadership council. Young people engaged. All right, we got another caller. Caller, you on the air?
Hello.
Yes, hello. Yes, caller.
Hi.
You on the air?
You hear me?
Hello. Caller.
Hello.
Lily. Maybe.
Well, caller, you can't. You got to turn your TV down if you're watching from television. So, caller, you on the air? All right, we're gonna dismiss this caller. All right.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, right. I won't say it. All right. I was gonna use one of Boise words, but I won't do it.
Yeah, be nice.
Yeah, be nice. All right. But anyway, going back to that. So you have an active, engaged youth council of young people.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the issues that are near and dear to them that they bring up consistently?
Well, about the leadership council, or the council been actively involved for 7 years.
Yeah.
So they be talking about bridging the gap between young folks and older folks, because they strongly believe that grown folks don't listen to them. All right.
Yeah.
They talk about the plight. This is real strong. Dig this. I'm always talking to them about not doing this and not doing that. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Don't drink, don't this, don't that.
Right.
And they say to us, why are you sweating us so much? We're telling us not to do this, and this and that, when you guys are the ones who created it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I told, like I told one young man, I saw young.
You hypocrites.
Right, I pulled up in a service station and got some gas, and I saw a young man, and I said, "Hey man, why don't you pull your pants up?" He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna pull my pants up when you put yours on." All right, we got a caller.
Watch out!
Yeah.
Watch out!
Caller, you on the air?
That's heavy.
We got to get ready to wrap up because
that was heavy,
pressed
man.
for time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Caller, you on the air?
I have a question.
Sure.
Yes, I have a question. My question is, when do the young people's opinion really matter the most? How and when?
Well, I heard that.
All right, so we got your call. We got it. Thank you for your call. Appreciate it. When does a young people opinion really matters?
Actually, it matters all the time. I mean, I stress this all the time with young folks and with us elders, that we should always be open to listening to the young folks. They have their own language. They have their own way of communicating. They have their own jargon. They use their own acronyms. And I'm saying to you right now that they are talking.
Yeah.
They're talking, they're revolting. The revolution is going to happen. It's happening, and it's happening with the young folks. And in order for change to come about, young folks have to be in the mix.
Well, listen, we got to put a pin in it. You stay tuned. If you're not doing anything, if you're not watching the Bears,
7 o'clock.
If you're not watching the Bears or the Cubs, you can turn back in and watch Mr. Walter Jones. He's been a great guest. This has been another great show brought to you by the Grand Boulevard Coalition. We want to thank Miss Aviance Richards, who's been on the phones tonight. I've been remiss not to mention her name. And our coordinator, Ms. Laurel Dudley. Absolutely. And to all of you, until next week, I wish you peace and blessings. God bless.